Hey Tim, happy Monday.
Here we are again, eh?
Yeah,
What
I
happened to the
know.
weekend?
I don't know, man, they're going so fast.
They are ever.
So our Everybody Matters campaign has been going really well. You've got some stats on that for us?
Yes, well, I do, but I'm hoping that Louise might have passed them across to you. I don't know if they're on your desk or not.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had about 17,000 downloads we've had 17,000 visits to the website and 3,500 downloads and letters to the Premier. So she's probably a little bit sick of us.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. I do know that they asked us to stop using one of the Premier's websites because we were becoming a nuisance, and then got asked to direct it somewhere else. And we kind of listened to that. So we didn't send it entirely there. We just picked another one of the Premier's email sites. So we did mostly what we're asked.
Mostly.
But at the end of the day, look, we're here to be heard. So
exactly.
So
right. And we needed to get it done before tomorrow, right? Because Parliament's back tomorrow.
Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting day. I don't know exactly what's on their agenda other than the talk about, they're going to be talking about some of the landlord stuff, I hope. But that was some of the rumours. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we don't really know if we'll get any updates tomorrow or it will be Wednesday. I guess that depends on how long they sit for tomorrow. And the weekend, we had auctions and open homes for the first time in 6 weeks and some good results as well.
Yeah, that was fantastic, wasn't it? It was a really interesting outcome, I thought, because prior to that, when we were doing online auctions, and I still remain a fan of online auctions, but the numbers are the numbers, and it was down around about 38% clearance rates and this sort of stuff. Yeah. And now that we've come back to the traditional way of doing things, the clearance rates have gone back up to about 70% on Saturday. Yeah, the numbers talk, don't they? But in my view, going forward, we're probably going to have a blended auction environment. And I think those people who are comfortable participating in that environment will do so, even now, particularly now with the COVID problems. But it was encouraging then. And the other thing I found encouraging is quite a lot of the properties that sold, obviously, went well over reserve. So this fear that the market was in free fall, at this stage at least, is not supported by the numbers. Not surprisingly, the number of transactions, the number of auctions was down, which didn't surprise anybody. No. But over the next month, I think we should be watching this space really closely, because I think the clearance rates will probably remain as they are because all of the negative economic news has come in. And now what we'll have to see is whether or not the stock starts to come back. It's going to be the wild card in my view.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody that I'm talking to is struggling for stock. They've got lots of people who say they want to sell in September, but not too many that are wanting to put their place on the market right now. And certainly the numbers, we only had 209 auctions on Saturday in Sydney, but we wouldn't have expected high numbers because to auction on Saturday, you would have had to start your campaign during the Easter period. So we would have expected without COVID that this weekend would have been quiet. Interestingly, we had 21% of the properties withdrawn from sale. And of all the properties that sold over the weekend, 45% of them actually sold prior to auction. So agents are still negotiating.
So it's still strong then, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the doomsayers and everybody saying the world's going to come to an end. It hasn't happened. No. And what about opens? So that was our auction which clearly went well. But I didn't hear any negative comments coming back from opens or as in negative, like the agents were doing the wrong thing out there. I didn't hear any of that.
No, not at all. Certainly there were a lot of people around at the opens. I've spoken to probably maybe nearly 50 agents between Saturday and this afternoon, and everybody's saying that the majority of their opens had reasonable numbers through. So most people were really happy with that. The police were out and about on Saturday checking the social distancing, and I haven't heard any negatives. No. But what I would say is I did see some social media photos of people, standing in front of sold signs and all that stuff, which is fine. But if you're going to do that, stand on one side and get your buyers to stand on the other side. Just a little bit of common sense until we get through this period, right?
Yeah.
Oh dear. And the REI Awards, our award submissions close on Friday, but the numbers have been really promising coming through, haven't they?
Yeah, surprisingly, actually. I think last year, it was a good market last year and everything was good. And we got 195 applications last year of submissions. And this year we're tracking at about 150. So again, the fact that the world is apparently all going down the drain, that people are seeing value in our awards program, and at 150 submissions at this time of the week,
and still counting. Yeah,
that's my point, and we're still counting. So I'm thrilled about that, and I'm really hoping that we get to have our night. And given it's in October or November, I can't remember, it's late one or early the other. We got a good chance of having a night out, which is great.
Well, I know Pamela has got October 30 set aside, which is a very important date, in case you don't realise that is actually my birthday. So I'll be very excited to be celebrating with everybody. Fingers crossed we can, but we'll just have to wait and see, right? Now, Friday we have got a webinar, 10:30, and I'm going to let you host this one without me. It is on superannuation.
All right.
So I know it seems like a dry topic, but I have seen this presentation before. And as I said last week, I definitely recommend people tune in.
Yeah. Look, it is something that all of us need to be, showing some interest in. I have to say that it's when you get the greys coming through strong, superannuation starts to become more important to you. But if we do, like for the younger folk out there, start to have a look at it, because believe it or not, one day you will be taking it seriously.
Yeah, because we never thought it would happen to us, right? We never thought these grey hairs would be popping up the way they are. No,
exactly right. But I do think it's an important thing. It's about investing in your future, and there's some little things you can do today that will make such a difference in the future.
And that's the thing, right? There's just a lot of technical stuff that you don't think about. You just think, oh yeah, my super's, is doing what my super's doing. But if you actually pay it a little bit of attention, you will really reap the benefits. So definitely tune in on Friday at 10:30. Anything else before we head off?
No. No, that's it. I've got a little list and I've gone through them. So that's it.
All right,
so we will talk on Wednesday, I think it is.
Yes, we will talk on Wednesday, unless we get news before from Parliament. We might do an unscheduled catch up tomorrow if there's anything to share. If not, Wednesday afternoon. Yeah,
well, no doubt by the time Wednesday afternoon comes around, we'll have plenty to talk about, as we always do.
Yeah, all right. Have a good night.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.